Hello, and thank you for joining me on I Am Maggie. So, we have been doing a ton of clearing, healing, and all these wonderful activities here. And we just kicked chapter 16 to the curb. We're on chapter 17 in this wonderful book, Excuses Be Gone by Dr. Wayne Dyer. Now, why are we doing this book? Why? Because it's how to change lifelong self-defeating thinking habits. And if you even pick up one tool here, it could change the game for you. And since you know we're the game changers, we change the game for everybody. We are picking up what he's laying down. Okay, so we are in chapter 17. The sixth question: can I access universal cooperation in shedding old habits? Okay, listen to this. This is, if you can take a deep breath and open. Here we go. The mystical technique for achieving immortality is revealed only to those who have dissolved all ties to the gross worldly realm of duality, conflict, and dogma. As long as your shallow worldly ambitions exist, the door will not open. Lao Tzu. I'll read that one more time. The mystical technique for achieving immortality are revealed only to those who have dissolved all ties to the gross world realm of duality, conflict, and dogma. As long as your shallow worldly ambitions exist, the door will not be opened. Lao Tzu. So it's so interesting, right? Because he's not saying that have nothing. He's saying like you can literally have everything and have nothing because you're literally so generous and giving and it doesn't control you. Or you can have everything and give nothing, or everything is like an angle in giving. So powerful, right? It doesn't mean that I love Reverend Ike because he teaches about being prosperous, having money, and using that money to help other people. And I love that, duality, conflict, dogma, or shallow worldly ambitions don't always mean that have to be in poverty. It can mean that you can be very wealthy and still giving the gift. Or if you are not the most wealthy, but you're still giving from a full heart. I mean, there's just so many ways in this path. It's just amazing. Okay, so here we go. As we move to conquer limitations, we're now going to switch from an intellectual approach to a spiritual one. Why? Because self-defeating habits and their accompanying excuses are the province of the ego. The parts of us that edge God out. So ego, E-G-O, edge God out. Convinced that our identity is only of this earth, most of us are controlled and manipulated by ego, false interpretations of who we are. And as Lao Tzu reminds us in the quote above, as long as we're tied to shallow ambitions in the material world, we're going to continue to be slavishly tied to old habits. So when you ask yourself the sixth question, can I access universal cooperation in shedding old habits? You begin to apply the mystical principle of higher consciousness to your life. Step by step, you dissolve the belief that you are exclusively tied to this material world. Even taking hesitant little baby steps will allow you to open the door to an amazing new existence. And you are literally watching me do this every day that I post. I'm taking baby steps in the direction of my new career, my future life, my new relationships, my new businesses. So we're all doing this together. So take a moment to review what your intellect has learned from the excuses be gone paradigm, and then trust that any help you need is forthcoming. When you completely relinquish the notion that you're separated from the mind of the universe, when you're in a God-realized or Tao-centered place, This is the point where you bid farewell to excuses. So bye-bye. Bye-bye, excuses. So accessing universal cooperation. The moment has come for you to recover your original pure insight, the clarity and the light that are within you now, and as they have always been. Enlightenment means that you access the light within you. So it's within us, right? Which is where you find divine guidance. So, guys, it's always going in. God isn't just, God's out there, but we keep forgetting He's in here. And God is working to come out through our every breath, through our every thought, through our every heart, through our every action, through our every aura, through our every body, right? Okay, so now is the time to surrender your worldly ambitions and turn yourself over to the guidance. The source of all creation, a pure energy, completely devoid of material form, that black velvet void where everything comes, creation comes out of, the womb. You came from this source and you will return to it. And as I've written frequently in this book, you don't have to physically die in order to access its unlimited power. You only need to become more like it. Your source of being recognizes only that which it is. So when you're unlike your source or God, the Tao, the universal mind or spirit, that's when you're dominated by ego and you think that you need all of its excuses. Yet Lao Tzu warned you at the beginning of this chapter that the mystical techniques of accessing divine guidance cannot and will not be revealed when you edge God out. Imagine a fish that lives 5 miles below the surface of the ocean. It has never seen light. It has no experience of what air is, has no eyes, and thrives in an atmosphere so pressurized that it would squash any creature who lives above the surface. So remember that scene in Finding Nemo, and Dory's over there, and look at the light, look at the light. And it's that deep water fish, step, 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 and it almost gets her and the dad. Now imagine that deep sea fish is communicating with a bird that's flying 5 miles above this creature's place of residence. So, right, we got a gap here. You can see how unlikely that would be, since the sea creature can't recognize something that's in a separate reality system. Okay, and that's when we're jumping life tracks or we're moving up our scale and our map of consciousness, right? We're doing that too. And sometimes as we become more aware of whatever vibration we hold, we can see things that we couldn't see in another spot. So likewise, your source of being knows nothing of struggle, hatred, revenge, frustration, fear, tension, or excuses. These are all inventions of the ego. And when you behave in ways that are separate and distinct from your source, it can communicate with you. Since conflict and excuses require duality, you can't access a source that only knows oneness when you come to it in conflict or with excuses about why you aren't all that it intended you to be. So we want to go into the silence. We want to sit in our meditation. We want to take that contemplative prayer, that quiet time where we can hear God. In order to access the infinite power of the Tao, you must become more and more like God. In other words, you must move into the space where you experiment with thinking and acting like you imagine God does, and suspend your intellect. The law of attraction proclaims that like is attracted to like. So when you think like the universal mind thinks, it will join you. And when you think in ways that are antithetical to this divine mind, you'll attract more of what you're thinking about. This means that if your thoughts are all focused on what's wrong, what's missing, what you can't do, or what you've never done before, like a YouTube channel, or building a public speaking career or a healing career, whatever, collaborating with Jenny spiritualists, the Skywalker Jedi Knight, that is on excuses. You'll access more of what you're thinking about. So we want to access the higher order values. So use the law of attraction to say goodbye to excuses. And when you do, the universe will recognize you, and help and guidance will show up in synchronistic ways. And as you align with your authentic original self rather than your ego, you'll start to feel as though you're collaborating with destiny. Aligning with source in your thoughts and actions. So if you attempt to figure out how your source of being thinks, the first thing you'll need to do is get rid of the ego. When you observe how creation takes place, you see that source energy is all about giving, and while your ego is all about getting. So aligning with source energy means taking the focus off of what's in it for me and shifting to how may I serve. When you say gimme, gimme, gimme to the universe, it uses the law of attraction to say gimme, gimme, gimme to you. And you subsequently feel pressure put upon and out of sorts because so many demands are being made of you. It is out of this vortex that you create excuses that only serve to keep you stuck and striving to meet the ego's demands. I'm not strong enough. I don't deserve it. I don't have the energy. I'm scared. It's too big, and on and on. All of this stems from identifying with the false self that edges God out of deliberations. So I want to just say this too. If you do the work will do you. If you are struggling or you're having a hard time right now, if you just continue to persist in it, the universe will eventually lift you up to that higher life track. Do not give up, because sometimes while you're living life, you're going to keep having that person that wants to put you back in that spot, keep you down, and wants to keep reminding you you're that person, or you're this, and then nobody's really communicating. And sometimes like you're thinking, okay, why is this triggering me? Or why am I projecting? Or why am I blaming? Or why do I continue to get into conflict? And you're thinking, okay, it's ego. I'm trying to edge it out, edge God out. It's a process sometimes. And like, sometimes you're in a dance with somebody who's trying to teach you something, or you're trying to teach them something. I just want to encourage you that just because it's hard, don't give up. Because if you continue to persist, it will eventually open and break way into the new creation, which is that better you. So shift to a new alignment now, one that puts you in a rapport with the creative universal mind. You can begin by thinking like God and follow up by acting like God. Take the focus off gimme, gimme, gimme and place it on how may I serve? How may I offer? How may I offer? How can I help? When you do, the universe will respond similarly, asking, how may I serve you? What may I offer you? How can I help you? Okay, so you say that, like, there's always an exchange, right? So you say to the universe, okay, and you say to humanity, I'm here to help you. I'm here to serve. And humanity and the universe says it right back to you in waves. So this is when the ego's old habits fall away and are replaced by unexpected, meaningful events with the right people, circumstances, and funding appearing. Okay, so literally this sentence, this is when the ego's old habits fall away and are replaced by unexpected, meaningful events with the right people and circumstances and funding appearing. So I am going to just claim this now, right here and right now. You are literally watching me walk this out and manifest this. I am walking boldly into my new career. I'm walking boldly into my YouTube channel. I'm walking boldly into my public speaking and energy healing career, and just, author and lover of humanity. And I'm telling you now, watch me as the universe begins, my ego and old habits fall away. So my old life just falls away, and it's replaced with unexpected, meaningful events with the right people, circumstances, and funding appearing. Just watch. And I'm also here to claim this for you. If you are in earshot of this video and you're hearing me, you too are on your journey, whatever it is, to crack the code, to make a lab that requires 1 drop of blood instead of like 15 milliliters. You might be designing something to cure Lyme's disease. You might be working on a plant that helps clean the environment. You may be working on your finance degree. I don't know what you're doing, but I'm just saying, I'm claiming this for you too right now, that your old ego habits will fall away and they will be replaced by unexpected, meaningful events with the right people, circumstances, and funding appearing for you and me. And there's going to be so much more. That's just the beginning, because the way that God wants us to live in this life, we get to choose, right? So we're moving into these higher dimensions, these higher order values. We make the choices, and our life begins to shift and change for it. Now, I'm saying you don't have to have some elbow grease. No, I am saying you do have to keep showing up. But like I say, one of my greatest quotes, if you do the work will do you. So Lao Tzu comments on the magic of this practice. If you wish to become a divine, immortal angel, then restore the angelic qualities of your being through virtue and service. This is the only way to gain the attention of immortals who teach the methods of energy enhancement and integration that are necessary to reach the divine realm. These angelic teachers cannot be sought out. It is they who seek out the student. So, yes, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. When the teacher is ready, the student appears. I honestly believe that can be an integration of both. Students seeking teacher and teachers seeking student in not such a clutching way, but just that, those of us who are teachers, we want very much to help all of humanity up. And those of us who are students want very much to continue to learn from our mentors. So it's a divine process. Whatever you do, don't give up. And remember, like I said, if you do the work will do you. So the way to get to the point where you abolish old habits and excuses is to petition the divine realm and restore the angelic qualities of your being. Restoring is crucial. And when you begin to think like God thinks, you actually are returning to your source of being without having to die. So I have a quote too: die before you're dead so you can live. In this process of living, I believe that we die many deaths. And I'm not talking about the near-death experience. I'm talking about our old man or woman. The Bible talks about, when you receive Jesus into your heart, the old man is crucified with Christ and the new man is resurrected. Or the old woman is crucified with Christ or put down, and the new woman is resurrected. And I'm just saying that, we want to die in ways, in whatever ego ways or whatever bad ways. We want to die before we're dead so we can live this life robustly and make the difference. And, sometimes you do not get to, sometimes some of the things that God asks you to do, you don't want to do. Like, you might be in the state of Hawaii And the Navy might be poisoning your aquifer, your largest aquifer, and it's affecting many people. Many people are getting sick and in all of the various states. And you might be having, the people being blocked from medical care. And this is called Red Hill. If you don't know about what's happening in Hawaii, our largest aquifer has been poisoned by the Navy, and it's Red Hill, and it's basically these a whole bunch of like jet fuel tanks that are just sitting over our aquifer leaking, and then there's other things like AFFF leaking. And my whole point in saying this is maybe this is not a life event you actually wanted to work on or help people with, but God put you in that position, and so that's what you're doing. You may be called to work in a shelter, and maybe initially you don't want to do it, but then through the process of these events, you end up getting great wisdom and you're able to help a lot of people. So you just never know what your calling is, but I'm just saying we want to align with the source and become all we can be. And God wants that for us too. The universe wants that for us too. So I can't emphasize enough here that you don't attract what you desire, you attract what you are. So once again, I turn to Lao Tzu, who concludes the passage quote on the previous page. When you succeed in connecting your energy with the divine realm through the high awareness and the practices of undiscriminating virtue, the transmission of the ultimate subtle truth will follow. And this is the path that all angels take to the divine realm. And so, like I said, all of these processes are processes. So if you find yourself continually falling back and struggling with the old man or the old woman, I just want to encourage you, be encouraged. If you do the work will do you. Please do your best to take the feedback that you're getting from your environment and ask, like looking within and asking God and the universe. Like if you don't know, like let's say for instance, you're struggling with blaming or you're struggling with conflict and you're just in that part, just sit in the silence and just ask God, ask the divine realm, I don't know, I'm having this problem with blaming, or I'm having this problem with conflict, or I'm having this issue with recurrent financial issues, or I'm having this issue with, water poisoning and whatever. I don't really know how to do this or what to do with this, but I'm asking you to help me, show me the way. And I'm willing to, like, if you can't say right away, like, I'm ready to charge forward, just say, I'm willing to learn your ways. I'm willing to hear the divine realm. Please help me in this process. And I'm telling you, if you continue to work in that realm, and you continue to keep your heart open, and you continue to just stick, there's like, the feeling of the presence of the living God, and you will begin to start being nudged and pushed in directions that only the Creator could send you in. And so don't give up. Okay, that is to say that you can't just wish for change or simply think about what you want and expect it to appear. To see the old habits fall away and access the divine guidance in making your life work at the highest levels of happiness, success, and health, you must forget about what's in it for you. Start practicing higher awareness by serving and wanting even more for others than you want for yourself. Otherwise, you will never experience the subtle joy of a blissful, fulfilled life. Okay, I got a commercial break for myself. I just want to say, like, you hear me talking a lot about Brian Scott, Billy Carson, Elizabeth Hoekstra, Renee Garcia, Reality Transurfing, Josiah Brandt, School of Imagination, Brian Scott, Reality Revolution, Dr. Joe Dispenza, Dr. Greg Braden, Dr. Bruce Lipton, Dr. Wayne Dyer. You hear me talking about all of these higher order value people. And if you've ever gotten a chance, like if you just even roll over to Forbidden Knowledge or Reality Revolution or the School of Imagination or Reality Transurfing, or you just, Dr. Joe Dispenza, you will actually see like universe. You will see alchemy. Oh my gosh, Sarah's amazing. You will see that they give so much. Like there's so much information they're willing to give, to share, so much love to give and share, so much genuine compassion and caring, higher order values like Mike Rashid, like we're talking King Simon, we're talking like so many people are stepping into Dr. B. Serious. I love him. When you just start to look, people are really making an effort to give forward and to say, how may I serve? And then you also find out that they have content that's for sale. But you can also see that before even they're trying to sell you something, they're genuinely trying to gift you from their heart to uplift you. If you ever look over to Reality Revolution, I'm just getting chills right now, and you look at some of Brian Scott's offerings, they are so reasonable. Like the man puts out content like it's going on style, and it's high quality content. So is Josiah Brandt, so is Billy Carson. And you look at this and they have given, there's so much content they give from their hearts, and then they also have things for sale, but they're genuinely, there's nothing wrong with servicing mankind in your gift and that exchange. Like we talked about earlier, you say, how can I give to the universe? The universe says, how can I give to you? And so I'm just saying, like in this comment, he talks about getting out of the what's in it for me. And if you really just listen to some of the people that I've like talked about in my videos, every single one of them I've seen just give so much to every single person that they've come across. You know, I mean, of course, they have to maintain boundaries because sometimes people are not, healed. But the bottom line is they're doing what they can. Evan Carmichael, it's like there's just so many people out there, and you got to keep tapping into the good and the higher order values. And we have to make these efforts to overcome this, savage parts of ourselves, the inhumane parts of us. Like I said, I've been reading the autobiography of a yogi, and there's just so many points in there where he talks about being compassionate and being like Jesus and embodying those traits, not just speaking about them. And it's super touching. And so starting to practice higher awareness by serving and wanting even more for others than you want for yourself. Otherwise, you'll never experience the subtle joy of a blissful, fulfilled life. And that, I know whoever's listening, you will have a service life, but you will experience joy, you will be blissful, and you will have a fulfilled life. So claim that. And as Lao Tzu says, this is the only way you can demand guidance. It will come when you align your source, when you align as your source is aligned. And then, and only then, as you live and practice the virtues, you'll gain the attention of immortals. Otherwise, I repeat, the door will absolutely not open. So for all of us who are working through it, the Bible says, if you knock, the door will be open. And, I want to just say too that I know like a lot of people are having challenging time with their loved ones, their so-called unloved ones, maybe co-workers, neighbors, or whatever, because so much is going on. Like that balloon that flew over the United States that they think is, they're saying it's from China, and, all Ukraine, everything going on. But they're so in the midst of all of this turmoil as things come up. See them as opportunities for us to practice our skills. Never give up hope, even if you feel that you acted in a bad way and you failed that day. If you stay in the prison of your mind in that failure, you will never overcome it. So you need to forgive yourself and forgive others, and recognize that all around you is Lao Tzu and is God, and all within you is Lao Tzu, is God, is Dr. Wayne Dyer, is your children, is your spouses, is your friends. Jenny, spiritualist, Skywalker, light worker. She's just, I wasn't say she's tearing it up, but she's building it up. And, Lisa and Tammy and Kathy and Terry and Louise and Sparkle and Sparkle. There's 2 Sparkles in my life, which, I mean, come on, guys, Sparkle squared. And, Cosmic Royalty and all the other wonderful people. I just thank you for being you, and continue to be brave. Don't be discouraged in any circumstance. Continue to rise up and continue to choose these higher order values, because the world is in need of you. And it does take, a lot of times people think the kind and whatever, they're weak, but it actually takes such great strength to choose to be kind, to choose to be loving, to choose to be compassionate, to keep coming back, to never give up. And a part of success is showing up. So if you show up, like you just keep showing up, you're going to eventually succeed. And we're going to be watching me do this as the years come. I will be building myself a nice, beautiful career, serving my international community. So I want to thank you so much for listening. Please let me know in the comments. Please hit like and hit subscribe. And also please let me know any of the tools, any part of the book that has touched you, has helped you. Tell me how you plan to get in the world. Like, how are you going to serve? What is it? Like, do you do art? Oh, let me tell you, that's another guy. Brian Larson, Metaverse, off the chain. The guy's got a bigger heart than the universe can hold. It's pretty amazing. Oh, and don't forget, there's the Heart Coherence challenge with Kyle Boyd and Lisa Rush. Make sure you are signing up for that. It starts on Valentine's Day, and we're all going to be heart coherencing together forever. But anyway, yeah. Just whatever you do, don't give up. There's too many wonderful people for you to forget that God lives. The living of the Spirit God is, the power of the living Spirit of God is in me, is in you, and is in everyone, and is in so many. And we get to choose what. And this world, in this point, with all of its prickliness, is in need of you. So let me hear how you plan to serve. I would love to hear. All right, on that note, peace in. You know what's next. You know what's next. You know what's next. Peace in. Peace out.